Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 117 of A Double and Dice, and we are continuing on our keyword series.
Because the idea was sparked.
Yes, and we sparkle that on our last episode. And today, I don't know how to come up with a witty one with this one.
I've got it.
All right, go for it.
Today we are going to come out of the fog and bring out the obscure keywords.
There you go.
It wasn't great, but we'll go with it. Today we're going to talk about obscure, which was initially the keyword that we talked about a couple episodes ago, is potentially the ones we would start with, right?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to talk about the more obscure keywords, or the ones that are lesser known or lesser used, and obscure is definitely one of those. So, should we get started?
We shall.
All right. So what is obscure?
Obscure. When you use an action die, this character is unblockable until end of turn.
That's a very interesting keyword.
Mm-hmm.
The language on the keyword page is very interesting. Do you know why it's very interesting, Kim?
Because it sounds exactly like a certain character that everybody knows and loves. Maybe not loves. Maybe the other people don't love it.
Well, I mean, some keywords, and this is one of them, as far as I know, it makes sense to me anyway, came from an ability that existed previously, and then they keyworded it to make it something else. So if you were playing in the days of Dungeons and Dragons Tomb of Annihilation, aka 2018, you would be familiar with a character called One Pureblood. And today we are not talking about the epic humanoid, who is the super rare. We're talking about the lesser humanoid, which is really kind of derogatory, don't you think?
Lesser humanoid?
Yeah, she's lesser. Anyway, she's a monster, and she has the gear icon so she can be equipped, and she has a tune, which we alluded to in the last episode. While this character is active, when you use an action die, I said when you roll an action die, it was actually when you use it, deal 1 damage to target player or character die. However, that's already a keyword, Kim. It's the rest of the card that's important. It says, when you use an action die, your 1T Pureblood character dice cannot be blocked until end of turn.
Yeah.
What does that sound like?
Obscure.
Exactly. So they took this ability and they called it something called obscure. And I think the idea here is, your like there's fog and your opponent can't see, right? Like if you define obscure, the word obscure.
Oh, the actual word? Is that what it actually says? Does it say fog?
Obscure as an adjective is not discovered or known about and is uncertain. As a verb, it is keep from being seen or concealed. So like the character is sort of concealed. You can't block it, right? It just comes through and it's like, poof, here's your 3 damage, So yeah, so that's kind of where obscure, I think, was born. They came up with that. And that card was obviously easier to get than the super rare.
Yeah, it's just a common card.
And was very easy to overwhelm a team for a 2-cost bolt with the stats of 021, 131, 133. So definitely a cool card from the days of yore. And now that ability has been keyworded. The other thing that's interesting about that, Kim, is read it again for me.
Which one?
The definition of obscure.
When you use an action die, this character is unblockable until end of turn.
This character.
Mm-hmm. And someone whom we will not name, maybe later, asked about this in the rules forum.
Someone did. Someone did. And the question reads, it defines obscure, which we've read about 14 times, so I won't repeat that. There has been some conversation since it says this character and not this character die. If I had an obscure character active, then used an action die to trigger obscure, then fielded a second copy of the same obscure character, would both dice be unblockable in this case? And what did the WizKids rules forum say, Kim?
They said, absolutely. No, didn't say that. As worded, all dice of that character would be unblockable. If a judge were to rule otherwise under the, in quotes, weaker interpretation theory, we would understand. But unless an alternative ruling is made, please treat it as this character and not this character die.
Yes.
Which is very interesting. I did not know that.
And they actually answered that question in like less than 3 weeks. So the question was initially asked on March 23rd, 2020. And was answered on April 2nd, 2020. So that was very interesting. So yeah, so all dice of that character, just like with Wanty, all your Wanty character dice cannot be blocked. All dice of said character with Obscure cannot be blocked when you use an action die, even if they weren't in the field when the action die was used.
Interesting.
Feels broken.
What if, like, let's say, I guess it wouldn't work.
Well, tell us.
No, because it wouldn't work. Because if you're attacking, your other opponent was an attack if you had the same character in the field.
I'm pretty sure there's something in the rule book about that.
But it wouldn't work anyways because they're not going to be unblockable because it's not they're not the active player.
Exactly. But your opponent can't attack, which makes them unable to be unblockable because unblockable only happens when you're attacking.
I wonder why they would have actually made it into a keyword.
Well, I mean, if you make it into a keyword, then you can save text on the card.
Because it costs X amount per letter.
Well, it just makes it more consistent, right? So if you have a keyword that's defined as something and the definition is readily available, like through the keywords page, then there's no reason to put all the text on the card.
True.
Right? This is obscure. And if you keyword things, then the interactions can be more clear.
Yeah.
So we believe, we at a Double and Dice, with absolutely no proof and only our own knowledge to come to support us, believe that Wanty Pureblood Lesser Humanoid was the source initially of obscure, and now obscure is a keyword. So how many cards have the obscure keyword, Miss Kim?
I can count it on one hand. 5.
So 5 or less.
There's 5, and 4 unique.
All right. So how do we want to go through them?
We'll just go through them.
In which order? Alphabetical?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one in the list then would be Drow Mercenary Hired Blade from the Trouble in Waterdeep box team
Which
pack.
all of them actually came from that set.
Coincidence compared to Spark? Perhaps. 3-cost Bolt Monster. Has the gear icon Obscure. That's it. That's all we got. Obscure. It is a 032-142-144.
Which is actually not bad stats for a 3-cost.
For a 3-cost Bolt, definitely not.
Yeah.
Especially one that can be unblockable when you use an action die. So you're unblocking through a 3 or a 4.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Next one is Hitch. Ruggish Charm.
Rugish Charm?
Rugish Charm? Rugish? I've never heard that word before.
Roguish, maybe.
Roguish? Isn't that what I said? Roguish? Or what did I say? I don't remember what
I don't remember. Let's keep going. It's a 4-cost mask.
4-cost mask. I don't know that banner.
Adventurer of some description.
I don't know. Experience, which we talked about last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Obscure. And that is all. Wow, they're pretty they're pretty exciting.
Well, I mean, experience because if you KO a monster on your turn, right? You're able to, if you KO your opponent's monster on your turn, you get to add stats, which goes good with the obscure keyword because
it's unblockable.
It goes up there.
But this guy doesn't really have very good stats.
Well,
he's 1-1-1.
Experience is for
1-1-2 and 1-3-3.
But you know what else he's got?
In
addition to his roguish charm, he has a burst face. He has 2 burst faces, so that means that you could use it with Spark. The next one is Human Warlock, Seeking Hidden Knowledge, 4-cost mask with an adventurer of some type banner. Also with the experience and obscure. This one has the stats of 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 4, 1, 2, 5. So not great stats for something that is unblockable.
Well, you could flip his stats if you really wanted to.
I suppose. But, I guess, again, the experience is supposed to be key there, but with the 4 cost, I think I'm probably better to go with Hitch than Human Warlock.
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me pronounce this one.
Do you want me to go first? I can do it.
Oh, I'm gonna butcher it. Let's go. Koatoa, whip of blip doop bloop bloop.
That sounds good to me.
Blip doop bloop. 2 cost, and it has swarm.
Nice.
Do we know what swarm is?
We do know what swarm is.
All right.
When this character die is active and you draw that character die from your bag during your clear and draw step, you get to draw an extra die.
And obscure. Stats are 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2.
2, 2.
2, 2.
And then we have the last one, which is Kuatoa, Mad Degenerate, 3 cost fist with the monster banner. Obscure, we already know about. And Infiltrate, which is when this character die is unblocked, you may return this die to the field zone, and it deals your opponent 1 damage, which is one of the other keywords that is out there. And we actually have the Infiltrate substep in the attack step, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unofficial Infiltrate substep.
This one's good because he has low stats. So if he goes unblockable, at least he'll do 1 damage. And then if you get him beefed up, then he can just go through.
Yeah, it is interesting, the combination of Obscure and Infiltrate.
Mm-hmm.
Because with those stats, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, I read them in the wrong order. Like, if you don't send it through, then you bring it back and you still deal your opponent 1 damage. I guess that's the idea. You're guaranteeing the ability to infiltrate.
Yeah.
Because your opponent can't block it, so then you can infiltrate it back. Now it's making sense. There's the light bulb, Kim.
But it'll take you 20 times to do that.
I mean, only 10 times if you're on level 2. And it's only a 3 cost, so if you get more of them in the field, then...
True. If you get all 4, because max 4 dice.
Yeah, 4 times 2 would be 8. So you do it 3 times, and then you win. I want to build that team. At that point,
you just let it through for 2 points of damage.
I want to build that team.
All right. Favorite card, because this is going to be a little tough.
Mad Degenerate, obviously.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I don't mind the 3 cost Drow. He's got some beefy stats that...
The stats are decent, yeah. 0, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 4. I think if I was just building straight up, I just wanted something that was unblockable without any other challenges, then I would say, yeah, Drow's the way to go with the 3 cost bolts. But I like the idea of the Mad Degenerate, what do you call it?
Kuatoa.
That's not what I was looking for. Challenge to build. Yeah.
These are pretty straightforward. Again, only in this set and didn't do in any other set.
Well, I mean, again, they still could.
Yeah.
I could see how they could tie this with potentially some of the comic book characters if that came forward. Somebody like the Invisible Woman, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's obscured.
Like these ones are like somehow maybe just tied into D&D.
There have been keywords that are only in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be one of those.
Yep, it's sparkle.
But yeah, I do see a potential for this in certain Marvel or DC sets or future sets. If they come out with something that's not Marvel and DC or Dungeons and Dragons, I could see that happening. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. So
there you go, obscure. Pretty straightforward. Probably one of the easiest to build around. I mean, Spark is not that hard to build around either.
No, I think with obscure, I think the tricky part is what action are you going to use to trigger it?
Yeah.
Because you can trigger it with a non-basic action die that's exclusively yours, and your opponent can't buy it out from under you. Because my initial thought would be do something like a thrown brick for a 2 cost.
It'd be easy. Mm-hmm.
Or a pizza for a 1 cost. Something cheap, something easy to buy. But then if you do that, your opponent might buy them from you.
Yeah, I mean, thrown brick is probably the most popular one.
But if I see you've got thrown brick, I'm probably just going to buy your thrown bricks.
Yeah.
And then you don't have them, and you can't
really
make your character unblockable.
Cheap costs. I mean, 1 cost, there isn't many.
Is it just pizza? Might just be pizza.
Well, there's Backed Signal, which is a continuous die, and Cobalt Trap. So,
right.
Which still was just sit there, right? So you're not really even using it until something happens. But there's a lot of 2 costs. So,
but don't forget about improvised weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 1 cost.
I don't know why that's not showing up on my thing.
I don't know.
Oh, you know why? Because I'm just doing action, I'm not doing basic actions. There we go, basic.
And then you get pizza.
Yeah, then I'm just ignoring because other people will buy it off you. Right? So if you just do actions, I mean, there's a few to choose from.
Definitely. There's a few to choose from. So let us know what you would build with Obscure. Which one of those 5 cards would be your go-to? Does it fit into a team that you've already built? I mean, I can definitely see the potential of adding Obscure to a Spark team like we talked about last week, because those action dice have burst faces, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we have for Obscure.
Shall we talk about we can go into Dice Bag, because I believe other people talked about our last Spark.
Yeah, but we also have homework. So do we want to do homework first, or do we want to do Dice Bag first?
Let's do homework last.
Interesting. Breaking up the schedule. All right, Dice Bag. So
keep on the topic of keywords.
Keeping on the topic of keywords, we heard from... Who do we hear from, Kim?
Jackalope Spam.
Mr. Nick himself. And Nick said in the A Double Double and Dice podcast convo channel on our Discord, he says, the whole episode I'm listening and planning to suggest Boomerang as a way to get Spark, only to be thwarted by some person on the rules forum. And then he put in spoiler tags, I am that person with poor memory. Because... You
just want to say the name on podcast, what he actually said. You're not going to say it?
No. If people want to read what he called himself, they can go onto the Discord. So he posted the link to his interaction with Boomerang that we had talked about on the episode. And then he continued with, however, the discussion did give him an idea of what could be a fun abuse of Spark. Are you ready, Kim?
Mm-hmm. Use
Mimic to trigger Spark, since every Mimic character has a burst phase. And then he continues with more words after that, such as, he's the best chance. The further, the ability lets you reroll when fielded, so you might trigger Spark again. Even better, he's likely to be KO'd so that you can field it again next turn. This is good for any Spark team. But since you've rerolled a character, you can use the Stormbreaker Global, and Xanathar could make the cost for free. All of this could make for some annoying removal for the opponent, with the potential to field characters early and at odd times. And he included a link to the 3 characters he suggested. So he's got Mimic, Flying, Blasting, Slashing from the Dark X-Men team pack. 4-cost Mask. When Mimic is fielded, choose target opposing character die, roll Mimic and the chosen die. If either rolls an energy face, KO them both. If both roll character faces, KO the opposing die, and all your active Mimic dice become copies of the chosen die until you no longer have an active Mimic character die or a new Mimic is fielded. Your Mimic dice also retain the abilities on this card. Copying makes my brain hurt. Xanathar, as we talked about last week, Paranoid Tyrant has the Spark, which says until the end of turn you may use global ability for free. And the Stormbreaker Global is the 3-cost, pay 3, roll a character die from your use pile. If it fields a character, field it if it shows a character face, can only be used if one of your character dice was spun to an energy or rerolled this turn. which I think we talked about in the last episode as well.
Yeah.
But Mimic is a good call out. It's a good way to roll dice outside of your roll and reroll step. And one of the things that I didn't consider when we were talking about it, I said, I know there's ways to roll your dice, but I can't think of any right now. There's a great one. So yeah, we'll include that in the show notes.
Show notes. Yep.
I was going to say video description, but this is a double on dice. This isn't Dice Station Zebra with Rob and Jocelyn.
The other one you could talk about after.
Okay, we're going to pause the dice bag.
Well, that is the dice bag. We don't have anything else.
This is from the dice bag.
Yeah, true. But
it's
we don't have anything else like relating to the keywords topic.
Do you have anything else to add for keywords, Miss Kim?
No.
Okay. So let's go into your homework.
Right, which we talked about last time.
That sounded very stern, like I was angry at you. Did you do your homework? No, that's not what I meant.
Well, on the last episode, I just watched videos.
Yes.
And downloaded the app. But the app doesn't have Commander.
It does not?
No. So you and I, played a game of Commander not too long ago.
I mean, calling it a game might be overstating it, Kim.
Okay. This is what happened. Okay.
I'm ready. Wait, I was there. I already know.
Yeah. So the deck I have is Wilds of Eldraine, I think. Eldraine, maybe. And it's the Virtue and Valnor deck. Valnor deck. Sorry, Valnor. And fine. All right. Shuffled it up. I made sure to do pile shuffling because, putting in lands and all that stuff, make sure they're shuffled in. So I shuffled like 10 cards per, because it's 199 cards really, right?
Yep.
And then I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and then shuffled 2 decks and then put them together and shuffled. Okay, fine. Let's go.
All the shuffling.
So we pull our first 7 cards and I got every single one was land.
It's a lot of lands.
So I mulliganed.
And what happens when you mulligan in Magic?
When you mulligan in Magic, you only draw 1 less. So
That's
this time
right.
I was drawing 6. And I didn't want to mulligan anymore, even though I had lands. So let's just
I'm laughing,
say,
but it's not funny.
Let's just say I probably had about every turn I laid down a land. So I probably had maybe 10 to 11 lands.
There was a lot of lands.
Sitting that I ran out of room on the camera. And I got 0 characters out until I decided, I'll just put up my commander. So my commander was out. I didn't really want to attack because Jocelyn had beefy people that would just destroy my characters.
With Death Touch.
And then I had another character, and let's just say I won the land game.
You did win the land game. I was playing one of the Fallout decks, the doggy deck. I like the doggy deck. I actually saw a bunch of cards I'd never seen before because, Kim, did you know there's 99 flipping cards in this deck? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've played this deck like 4 times and I saw cards that I've never seen before because there's so many of them. And you shuffle and you shuffle and you shuffle, and shuffling 100 flipping cards is
very annoying. Mm-hmm.
It's awful. Anyway, maybe it gets better.
And you sleeved yours, so can you imagine how high your deck was?
Oh my god, I did. I sleeved them. Well, they're not mine; they're Rob's. So we sleeved Rob's. So I drew slightly better than you. I did struggle with the right color for my lands for a little while, but I was able to get something out, and then I started attaching equipment and auras to it, and then I made it unblockable with lifelink. And at one point, I think I had like over 60 life on a 40 life game, because in Magic you can gain life higher than your life total. Let's just say it did not go well for Kim.
No, I had bad pulls. I don't know when you beat me up because you were like gaining life and I was losing life.
I was hitting you for like 6.
I went through the deck. Just decided to see what was coming up. It was pretty much character or creature, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. Creature. Like, where were you 11 turns ago?
Yeah, so it wasn't the best introduction to Magic Commander.
Well, I'll give it another try because I found that was like bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulling like and then I was pulling artifacts. And here's another kicker one. So I had 2 artifacts, and I had the other one, which is also a land, but it's the one where you tap and you get stuff. So my other 2 artifacts were, if you play this, you can go through your deck to find plains and forest and add it to your hand. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Those things, yeah.
Because I have so much of that already. So those never got played because I was just like, what's the point?
And in fairness to you, Kim, like I am new to Magic. So we were doing the best we could, but we could have been doing stuff wrong. I don't know. Yeah,
there's a couple of things when it said your enchanted characters get +1/+1. I wasn't sure if like all of them just get a buff or whatever. Like I like those things. Yeah. Like it doesn't say like really like like I assume so. Like what other enchanted characters are there unless you don't have any out? What?
Yeah,
but some things like that were confusing, but
yeah. Generally, how did you find the flow of the game, I guess, like the steps?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's not hard to pick up.
No, right? I think the trickiest part for you, Kim, is because you've been primarily playing card games as Lorcana, is you kept trying to declare who you were attacking on my side.
Yeah. Who do I want to attack?
I'm like, you don't get to pick that. It's like it's like Dice Masters, not like Lorcana. You choose to attack, and then I get to choose who blocks. You don't get to choose like you do in Lorcana.
Yeah.
So, but generally, I mean, I think the other thing about Magic that's kind of odd is you get a second main step. Because you have like a main step and then an attack step, and then you get a second main step. But I don't know that we ever used that.
No, not really. Unless something happened in the step that you would use another main step. I'm not sure, but
and I think that Commander, I mean, it's fine one-on-one, but I think it's designed for multiplayer games primarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not done that yet, but it's quite often played, I think, with 4 players, and you can attack any of the other people. I don't know how that works.
You just attack. You just pick who you want to attack, I guess. Right, so you can gang up on people. I was watching a video that had 4 people playing.
Magic people can tell us how it works. But yeah, I like the doggy deck from Fallout. It's pretty good. I can tell you the colors because I have it here in my hands. I think it is it's red, green, and white. So mountain, forest, and plains. Yeah, and it's a fun deck. You weren't even pulling anything. Like, there was instants and other things that could have, like, reduced or gotten some of my enchantments away and things like that in theory in your deck. But you didn't pull any of that stuff.
No, I pulled lands.
It was not the best first Commander game experience, but that happens.
No, which is fine. It's just that it's kind of annoying that you keep pulling lands and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and then when you had like artifacts and stuff, you're like, yay! And you look at it, you're like, no, more lands.
I don't need any more lands.
If I just had a character or a creature that was like 11 cost, that would be like amazing. I would have gotten it out. But
would have been amazing.
Yeah. Well, they have a new one coming out. What is it? Assassin's Creed, and there's another one with flowers.
With flowers?
Yeah. What was it? It's called Bloom something.
Magic. Is it a commander deck?
I don't. Well, okay. So I looked up Assassin's Creed, and they do not have a commander deck for it.
Yeah, it's coming.
Which I find weird. It didn't have it at launch, which is actually launching in July.
I thought that it was coming as a commander deck.
No, I looked on their website, and all their products do not show
Magic Assassin's Creed.
Bloomborough is the other one, which looks like all animals. Looks like root animals, like that board game Root. Looks like those type of animals. Tiny Tales, Big Adventure.
I thought for sure there was a commander deck.
I thought so too,
but I don't see one. I see I'm on Face to Face Games, which is a Toronto game store. Booster box, starter kit, collector pack, collector booster box, Beyond booster pack, and bundle.
Yeah, no commander.
No commander, so there you go. Not a commander. So that's actually better because regular flavor magic is better because the cards, you can have decks that only have 40 cards in them.
Yeah. Bloomsburrow has commander decks.
So let's just look at Magic commander decks.
So I'm not sure why they didn't make one for that.
I mean, I guess they do their thing. Like,
can you mix sets to build decks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The pre-made commander decks are meant to be like, they're almost like a board game, right? Mm-hmm. You pull it out and you can play it as is. You don't have to modify it, right. But you can modify them. I don't really know much about what's legal and not legal in the standard, but yeah. So,
Bloomsburrow comes out in August. They look like little cute little animals.
They basically get something coming out like every month, pretty well.
Really,
Magic, yeah, they're pretty consistent. So
that's crazy.
So we'll try Magic again sometime.
Yeah, we'll try it again sometime.
We'll give you another shot. Hopefully you'll draw better.
Yes.
But on that, should we return to the dice bag?
Yes, because the dice bag talked about another game that Jocelyn played.
Talked about my homework from last time. So Nick continued on about Lorcana. He says he does think that there's a bit of power creep in the starter decks. The cards themselves from set to set haven't crept much, but they've made the decks slightly more cohesive in starters as the sets progress. The set 4 Sapphire Steel deck is decent with its hero cohesion. I think that is the one that I bought. But even Ruby Emerald from set 1 has potential with all the evasive characters. So he suggested that a local shop near him is running a starter deck league where you get a starter and then you can buy a booster each week to add to it. So it says each starter seems relatively even, but they all suffer from card draw. So similar to your problem, Kim, with Magic. If you don't draw into your good cards, then you're not really going to win. So he said generally it ends up being the person who draws into their rare card wins if the opponent can't get rid of it easily. He says he's using a Sapphire Steel deck, hero deck, and once you get into Anna or Felicities, I don't know what that character is. You're on track to win typically. So makes sense. Yeah, I think that first chapter deck that I was playing with Rob, it was really tough against the Inklands deck.
Yeah, I like that idea of people just bring starter decks and then you add to it as you go. I find like if I was going to a Lorcana night, I would not ever return to Lorcana.
Yeah, and I did open my last booster. I pulled a super rare, maybe.
You still don't know the symbols at the bottom?
No, they're confusing. It wasn't a legendary and it wasn't an enchanted, so it might have been a super rare. Is it triangle? What's the triangle?
No, it's like a colorful looking one.
No, that's legendary, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! All right, pull up a Lorcana symbol rarity chart.
Okay, rare is the bronze triangle.
Yes.
And super rare is like the silvery, weird looking
diamond. Baseball diamond looking thing.
Yeah, I pulled one of those, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I definitely had commons and uncommons. No legendaries, no enchantments.
Yep. Mr. Jordo pulled an enchanted.
I heard. AKA saw on the internet.
Yes, something called a Discord.
Yes. So,
but yeah, I don't know. I think people would deter me. So I'll stick to my starters and playing casually.
I mean, people just generally deter me. So, not all people, not you, dear listeners, dearest gentle listeners.
When watching Bridgerton.
Of course, I've been watching.
Okay,
Bridgerton.
So funny enough, me too. I just finished it. The new season.
The third season, of course.
Yes. And I love the music in that show.
Oh, I know. It's great.
It's fantastic. And when I hear a song, I'm like, I know that song, but it sounds so good in classical music.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was listening to it in the car the other day. Actually, I put it on. I was by myself, of course. So I put on some Bridgerton music, and the thing popped up, and it said, "Dear gentle listener." That's cute, and it had a little picture and everything on it.
I think we should start all of our episodes like that in the future.
Oh,
dearest gentle listener,
it is I, double
Lady Whistledown.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That's that. Bridgerton,
Lady Super K and Lady Jaw Stitch.
Ooh, we're ladies now. I don't mind that. Bridgerton's my guilty pleasure. I get the eye roll from Dave. And
I saw this thing on Instagram today. It was like a little video, or it might have been on Facebook videos. And it was a video of this guy who was like the boyfriend who didn't want to watch Bridgerton. He's like, what are you watching? And then like as the video progresses, he's like totally into it.
Yeah. I only have one thing about Bridgerton I do not like.
What's that?
I wish it was a little bit more dramatic. So in a way that someone dies.
Why?
Something happens.
Things happen.
It always ends in a love story. Okay, spoiler alerts. It always ends in a love story, but I want something dramatic to happen. You know what I mean? That it's not always about the same concept every season.
It wasn't dramatic when they unveiled who Lady Whistledown was.
I mean,
it wasn't dramatic when Daphne found out
she spoiled
how babies were made.
How what babies were made? Is that what you said?
Yes, in the first season. She was very confused. She had no idea.
All right, who's your favorite character? Great. We just turned this podcast into like a Bridgerton podcast. But anyways,
I do like Eloise.
Yes, she's awesome.
I did not like, spoiler alert, I did not like how she treated Penelope in season 3 for most of it. However, I do like Eloise as a character.
Yeah, she's good.
Also,
I actually don't mind Benedict. He's interesting.
But Kate, I like Kate a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's pretty good.
I guess technically there's 4 seasons if you watched Queen Charlotte,
which was an awesome show. Actually, that was good. That's a good introduction. Oh, she's one of my favorite characters too, the Queen. She plays that character so good.
Yeah, I just enjoy it, and you can call it a guilty pleasure if you want. But there's certain things that I do watch and certain things that I don't watch. And yes, I watch Bridgerton. So yeah, and I am proud.
Yeah,
I am proud that I watch Bridgerton. It's fun. I like it. It's a good they're short seasons. They're like 8 or 10 episodes long.
Something like that. Yeah, I can crazy. Binge watch it.
Yeah. So anyway, I watched it, and I enjoyed it, and that's where I am from a TV perspective. I'm also currently watching the latest season of Doctor Who to get it back on something that is more a double and dice potentially related.
What did I already finish? Oh, I rewatched House of Dragon. I have not watched the new season yet, and then because I'm waiting for Dave to watch with me, and then I decided to rewatch Game of Thrones.
Hang on. So he'll watch House of Dragon, but he won't watch Bridgerton?
No. What does House of Dragons have anything to do with Bridgerton?
I haven't watched House of Dragons, but I see a parallel between Game of Thrones and Bridgerton for sure.
I don't know, because maybe it has dragons. It's a little different. I don't know.
Because it has dragons, it's different. There's still love stories. It's not
very
necessarily
weird love stories, but it's not really love, but sure.
It's not about marrying people off, which is basically what Bridgerton is. It's the marriage market.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not so much about the story in Bridgerton. There is a story, obviously, but it's the costumes and the sets and all that sort of stuff. That's the stuff I love. I love period pieces.
So did you watch Downton Abbey then?
Of course. There's a new movie coming.
Oh. I that's an older series though, so I'm not sure.
Downton Abbey, Upstairs, Downstairs.
Never heard that one before.
Oh, you should watch that one too.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
Yep, that's my thing. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to finish the current season of Doctor Who. I just haven't had a ton of time because I had to dedicate some time to Bridgerton, and we're getting there. So it's really good, though. I really like it. This season appears to be dividing the fan base, but I'm a big fan of Shooty. So
I've never watched a Doctor Who episode in my whole entire life.
Oh. Well, you know who the Doctor is right now, right?
No.
He's the guy from Sex Education. Shooty.
I've never watched that show.
Did you
either.
watch? You didn't watch that? Oh, okay. Shooty Gatwa. I don't know if I'm saying
that's his actual name in real life.
Yeah,
Shooty.
Well, it's pronounced Shooty, but it's spelled Ncuti.
I'm gonna look it up.
He's a Ncuti. He's a Rwandan Scottish actor.
Gatawa.
That's him.
Ah.
Yep.
What's a Rwandan? I don't even know what that is.
Rwanda? It's a country.
Rwanda. Okay. Rwandan.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So it is a very fun season. It is full of joy and music and crazy mysteries and very Doctor Who like. Lots of people hate it, but I think people like Doctor Who by hating it, so whatever. I'm just telling you that I enjoy it, and that's all that matters.
Wasn't there a woman Doctor Who at some point?
Yeah, they had Jodie Whittaker before they had Shooty, and you know, I was really looking forward to her as a doctor, and unfortunately she got very poor scripts, in my opinion. She did the best that she could with what they did, with what they gave her, but it was not a great couple of seasons. There was a few episodes that were pretty good, but I'm a big fan of where we are today. So
nice. They made 26 seasons of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it has it had its 50th anniversary a few years ago. The 60th must be coming up.
That's crazy. 1963. That's when the first one came out, I guess.
Oh, I guess we already had the 60th anniversary. It was last year. Don't mind me. I'm just a little bit behind. I watched all of it. I just didn't realize that was the 60th anniversary. So, all right. Do we have anything else, Kim?
No, we just went off topic totally. Off topic totally.
As we do. As we do. Okay, so if you would like to remember the beginning of this episode before we talked about Bridgerton and all that fun stuff, we talked about Obscure, and we'd love to hear about the characters that you would build with Obscure, what your Obscure team would look like. We are still looking for feedback on Spark. Spoiler alert, we are recording this episode very early. So we did not get a lot of feedback because we're recording it the day that the last one came out. So not a lot of people have had a chance to listen to it yet. So if you do have feedback on Spark, please make sure that you send that our way as well so that we can talk about it on our next episode. And also, if you have a suggestion of what keyword you would like to hear next, you can let us know. And you can let us know in all of the usual places, which include joining us in our Discord channel at dmNorthTV. We have a Double and Dice podcast convo channel, as mentioned. Also on Discord, you can @ us. I am at JoStitch, Joce Stitch, and Kim is at SuperK. You can find us on all the socials at dmNorthTV. That includes Twitter, X, whatever we call it now, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I'm missing something. All of those places. You can send us an old-fashioned email at dm-north.com. You can leave a comment on our episode post over at dm-north.com. And then you can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/dmNorthTV or on Twitch at twitch.tv/dmNorthTV. So until next time, on a double and dice and Bridgerton.